Roe wasn't feeling the marriage anymore and had filed for a divorce and moved out the home. Robert thought she was just upset and they would be able to work things out. When he saw his car parked up, he walked up to the door, opened it, and after seeing another man, he started shooting.
Alright y'all, now fellas, one thing I always say is these days are not the days to be messing with another man's woman, especially their wife. When it was back in the day, it was funny, it was cool to say that you took a man's girl, and it was like a flex when you were younger, right? But as you get older, you realize the consequences are a little more heavy because guys are willing to take your life, her life, and sometimes even their own life when they find you sleeping with their significant other. But here's the thing, what do you do when you had no knowledge of her being in a relationship because she didn't tell you, and her husband pulls up, catches y'all together, and decides to shoot the both of y'all? That's just downright foul. But this just might be the case here with a couple from West Palm Beach, Florida. A man would catch his wife, not girlfriend, but wife, in a car that was in his name with another man. He tracked the car down due to having a tracker of some sort on it, and when he located his car, he would shoot both her and the man. But sadly, she lived, but the man she was cheating with passed away. Crazy. Anyway, let's get into the video. Shout out to Tony 2 times. I'll leave a link pinned in the comments if you like what you see, so you can go over there and support their platform. But in the meantime, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm. And if you not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it.
When most relationships start off, it can be one of the best feelings in the world. When y'all are still in that honeymoon stage, vibing, getting along, and falling in love with each other. For some, they still believe in the traditional way of life. They might want that feeling forever, feel like this is their person, and want to get married. Once you say I do, it's a whole different ball game though, that a lot of people feel like they are ready for until you get behind those closed doors with your spouse.
And that's the thing, y'all. Let me tell you this, right? If you're not ready to get married, you know you don't, and this goes for both men and women. If you know that you're really not serious about being with this person, why even do that to yourself for getting married, right? Why even put yourself in that predicament? Why even take it that step far if you know that you're not done with the streets, right? Let's be real. If you know you're not done with the streets, why would you sit there and get married? You might as well just date or just let that person be.
Have to share space together, finances, problems, personalities clash, the arguments come, and reality sets in. That marriage is hard work. For some, they understand what they signed up for better or for worse, and they come to a mutual understanding and work things out. But for others, it can be a little bit too much, and as quick as they said I do, it's just as quick as they are ready to sign on papers and get a divorce.
Crazy.
Even a relationship or marriage can be hard, especially if one person is still attached and wants to work things out. While you are thinking that chapter is closed in your life and you are ready to move on, for some, they might even be ready to date again right away. But depending on your partner, that can be dangerous. Some really believe in till death do us apart, and letting go could come at a price. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we'll be taking it to West Palm Beach, Florida, to discuss the case of a man who caught his wife in the car with another man and crashed out. Back in 2018, Robert Finney was a 35-year-old man enjoying life in the Sunshine State. He had a lot going for himself, but his main joy was his wife, who we will call Ro for the sake of the story. The couple had got married just 2 years prior, when she was just 18 years old. Now she was 20, and Robert adored his wife.
See, but that's the thing, right? She was only 18. Right? Let's be real. She haven't really seen life yet. she hasn't been around the world. She hasn't really soiled her royal oats. So yeah, it sounds cool, but at the end of the day, I personally see this all the time, where somebody either gets in a long-term relationship at a young age or they get married at a very young age, and ultimately they end up either cheating or something ends up happening because they committed too early. They didn't really get to live life. They didn't get to go out with the girls. They didn't get to go out with the guys and the bros and do X, Y, and Z. So they end up doing that within a relationship because they're trying to experience life, and then it starts crumbling because they didn't get to experience life before they committed to this relationship.
According to family, he did everything for her. All seemed well. They would go out on dates, even had a YouTube channel. But in February 2018, it was trouble in paradise. Ro wasn't feeling the marriage anymore and had filed for a divorce and moved out the home. Robert thought she was just upset and they would be able to work things out. On another side of town was a 20-year-old young man, also named Robert, Anthony III. The 6'6" young man was into sports, not too long out of high school where he graduated from Royal Palm Beach. The young man was trying to figure out life. He worked at Publix all through high school, but now he had started working at Burger King and was taking college classes and focused on his future. He still had hoop dreams, but also understood he had to work. Coming from a big family, Robert was described as a jokester. He had just turned 20 years old on March 9th and decided he would go out on the town with his friends. On March 10th, they went out to celebrate the young man's birthday when he met a beautiful young lady. The two sat in the car and talked all night. Her name was Ro. Not knowing anything about her estranged husband or that she had just filed for a divorce a week prior, Robert was feeling the vibe.
See what I'm saying? Now, it's bad on her end, but it's really not, because she's probably done with him, right? They got a divorce. She filed for divorce. She's done. But I feel you also have to let your partner or whoever you might be taking serious, let them know, like, yo, listen, I just got out of a relationship or a marriage, and, you know, I'm going through some things, just so I can know whether to deal with you or not, because maybe he wouldn't want to deal with that, right? So you got to put people on to whatever baggage you may come with.
So the next night, when she called him to link back up, he said, cool. Ro pulled up to the Village Place apartment complex on Brandywine Road in West Palm Beach. The two picked right back up where they left off at, talking and laughing. They were enjoying the night, just sitting in the car. But Ro was in a vehicle that was in her husband's Robert's name, and he was tracking it the whole time. Robert jumped in his other vehicle, drove to the apartment complex, armed. When he saw his car parked up, he walked up to the door, opened it, and after seeing another man, he started shooting.
So clearly he already had intentions on doing something foul, because when he left his location, he already was armed. So he already had in his mind, maybe she's out, and whatever she's doing, she's probably with another man. What I'm going to do is, if I catch her with another man, I'm shooting him and her. But here's the thing. She filed for divorce, right? So she was done, and she moved out. So, like I said, I don't know, it's 50-50 here. But this is crazy. Another thing is, if she was done with him, right, the car that's in his name, I know it sounds crazy because maybe it's her only car, her only form of transportation, but you got to give that back, right? You got to give that back, because this still gives him attachment. This makes him still feel like y'all attached some way, somehow. As crazy as it sounds. Clearly, he felt the need to find her and track her down because she was in the same car that either he got for her or it was his, but it was in his name.
Robert ran out the car, but he was already hit. Ro was also shot. Robert then pulled out his phone and called for help. The operator could hear the man asking his wife, "Why you cheating on me?" As police and paramedics arrived to the scene, they found Robert doing CPR on his wife, who was suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Her friend, young Robert, was also hit multiple times. They were both rushed to a local hospital, and Robert was taken into custody at the scene. After saying, "I did it. I shot them," he still had the gun on him. Unfortunately, Robert would pass away from his injuries at the hospital. Roe would fortunately pull through, but be paralyzed.
Now you see how that works, right? You see how that works? A kid, not even a man, a kid that got nothing to do with nothing. He literally met this girl one night. The next night, she wanted to see him. And at that point, he's gone. All in a matter of 2 days. In a situation that he had nothing to do with. Right? He literally just met this girl. Crazy.
Robert was now charged with first-degree hit and attempt. The situation sent shockwaves through the community. A young man who lost his life just 2 days after his 20th birthday, all from meeting a woman at a club. But Robert's family was devastated. They felt like the young man didn't deserve that, as his mother and father spoke out. They stated he didn't know she was married, and he was an innocent young man, just trying to have fun. At Robert's first bail hearing, he was denied bond, as young Robert's family filled the courtroom. And as the case started making its way to trial, emotions ran high. Prosecutors painted the situation as a jealous, estranged husband who stalked his wife, tracked her down with intentions to take her life. But Robert's attorney painted a different picture of a man thinking his car was being stolen because of the location it was in.
Y'all see this? Yeah. Now I get it. Your attorney, and that's, you see how crazy they'll spin situations. I get it, right? Your attorney is there to represent you and do everything in their power to make sure you get off a case. But clearly, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. You mean to tell me he left his house, right? Because he was tracking his car, left with a firearm, located the... Here's the thing, right? If you thought it was being stolen, you clearly watched the car before you decided to open that door and open fire. But once you open the door and realize who it was, why would you open fire if you had no intentions on shooting your wife or ex-wife and the guy she was with? And they were shot multiple times. So it's not like you open the door, hurry up and shot, and you say, oh, no, you shot both of them multiple times. You knew what you was doing.
He called his wife, and when she didn't answer, he grew concerned. Pulled up to the location, saw a stranger in his vehicle, and snapped. Robert took the stand in his own defense and pointed out his movements from that night. As some of young Robert, the victim's family, had to be removed from the courtroom due to anger and outbursts. Roe joined the trial via Zoom. She explained what happened that night. She claimed Robert wanted to take their lives. He could have just talked to them, but instead he shot. She asked that he get the maximum sentence because he took her life and put her in a wheelchair for life when she was only trying to walk away and escape the marriage. The jury disagreed.
Keep in mind, right, that he keeps saying his wife. That's not his wife. She filed for divorce. It may have not been finalized, but she filed for divorce and left the house that y'all shared. So clearly she was no longer yours, but he felt entitled. Crazy.
Agreed with the prosecutor, but also with Robert's lawyer. He was found not guilty on first-degree hit, but guilty on a lesser charge of manslaughter, aggravated battery, and shooting in a vehicle. Some members of the victim's family were upset, and Robert's father said, "Don't worry, he will still get a life sentence." And he was right. At sentencing, Robert received life for aggravated battery plus 30 years for the manslaughter and shooting in a vehicle. Rest in peace to Robert. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. He had just turned 20, met Roe the night prior while celebrating, and lost his life by the hands of a jealous husband he knew nothing about. Roe is still in a wheelchair till his day, but she continues to live life to the fullest, and also since has put the situation behind her. As far as Robert, I get it. He probably felt it's only been a week. You are in my car with another man and he just snapped. But it's so many factors that he could have sat back and self-reflected on. For one, he married a teenager. 18, you was 33. And you really thought that would last.
Boom. Right? I forgot to mention that earlier. But that was the first red flag. I always say, right, as a grown man, what do you have in common with a little girl? You see what I'm saying? Maybe she was misguided at 18, with this grown man. He was probably grooming her and got her into the marriage. But once she realized this isn't what I want because I want to live life, I haven't really lived the life yet, she was done. And as you can see, she met somebody her age, right? She didn't want no old skeezer, right? So she found somebody her age. And once again, I don't understand these men that prey on these little girls. What did you expect her to do? She was 18 years old, basically just came out of high school. You 33. That's the first mental break, the first mental something of him. Something wasn't right up there from the beginning. And what he did just proved that. Crazy.
She was fresh out of high school and didn't even get a chance to live life yet. You threw your life away, in my opinion, over something that wasn't going to never work in the long run. But I want to end this one with a few questions. Do y'all feel like just 1 week after filing a divorce, it's too soon to try to move on? And if you do, should you tell the person you are kicking it with your situation so they can know what they are getting themselves into? Or do you feel like at that point, it's not their business? Let me know in the comments. And remember, we got to succeed, not to fail. So we won't.
All right, y'all. There you have it. Now, those are some good questions. Y'all let us know. Was a week too soon to move on? Or not? Right? And then when she met the Robert kid, should she have told him her business or not? Now, personally, the average person would say a week is too quick, right? But there's no telling how much she put up with before she decided to file a divorce. One thing y'all gotta know about women, for my fellas out there, when they go to the extreme of saying they're done and be for real about it, they've been done mentally. See what I'm saying? She probably been done. So when she filed that divorce, she was done. But she did it the right way. It's not like she cheated. It's not like she was in the the marriage, and she did some foul stuff. No, she filed divorce, moved, and did what she wanted to do. I don't care if it was 2 days. If she filed the divorce and moved away, that's it. Whether it was a day, 2, 3, 4 days. Now, the only thing I do disagree on her with is not telling that kid. Because some people may say, oh, it's not his business. But if you decide you want to get serious, if you decide you want to do anything with anybody, you got to let them know the baggage that you come with. Right? Explain that. That should have been part of the conversation y'all was talking about. Like, listen, I'm experiencing a divorce right now. I'm with this guy, or I was with this guy. That should have been one of the first things spoken about. So he could decide whether he want to pursue this or not. Some people don't want to deal with that type of baggage. And this is one of the reasons why. You got crazy baby fathers. You got crazy ex-husbands. You got crazy ex-boyfriends. You know how much times I done heard a dude tell a girl, yo, listen, I don't care. We not together. If I see you out with a dude, I'm going to beat him up. You know how much time? There's a lot of guys in the hood that say that. And you got guys that don't want to deal with that. And I don't blame them. So y'all jump in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this, man. How do y'all feel about this whole situation? And let this be a wake-up call to anybody that's probably going through something like this. And to be honest with you, if you are in a situation where you're dealing with a breakup or a divorce and you meet somebody new, let this be known, y'all. Please. Let them know the baggage you come with. Here this kid is. He just celebrated his 20th birthday a day before. Then he met this girl, and then the next day after meeting her, he loses his life because of her? Right? What fear is that to him? Crazy, man. Y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm gonna keep on dropping.